all members of the committee, representatives from the various municipalities, including the mayors, deputy mayors, municipal managers, and other officials. I'm going to ask that the members introduce themselves for the record and for the meeting so that we can have a record of it. And I'll start with myself. My name is Christopher Fry. I'm the chairperson of this committee. If I may ask that we start with member Kasim to begin proceedings, please. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair, and to all the other members. Member Kasim present.
Good morning, Chairperson, Fulton Christians.
Good morning, Deirdre Bartman.
Good morning, Chair.
Chairperson Peter Murray.
And Andrikus van der Westhuizen.
Good morning, Peter de Villiers.
Good morning, Gerrit Pretorius.
Good morning, Chairperson, members, and all the representatives from the Karoo, the Central Karoo, and the various municipalities. My name is Cameron Dugmore, a member of the ad hoc committee. Thank you.
And then as member Seleko. And then member Maseko.
So is member the person that used my party member?
Excuse me, what did you say, member Dugmore?
No, I just wanted to know if you're referring to Honourable Seleko, the colleague who used my parking bay without asking me.
Oh, I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that, sir. But yeah, before we go any further, Ms. Klute, are there any apologies from the members?
Good morning, Chairperson. Good morning, members and guests. Yes, we received an apology from member America, Chairperson.
Okay, thank you very much. Now I will ask the members of the different municipalities to introduce themselves, starting with Central Karoo District Municipality, please.
Good morning, Chairperson.
Good morning, Chairperson.
Sorry, MM, you can go ahead.
Well, good morning, members. Good morning, Chair. Good morning, colleagues from the Karoo. My name is Mzingisi Ngungwana. I'm the acting municipal manager for the Central Karoo District Municipality. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Wesley Strong, acting senior manager, road infrastructure services.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ralph Links, Director, Corporate Services. Thank you.
Is that all, Mr. Kungwana?
No, I can see we have Mr. Jafta Boyson from the Laingsburg municipality here. I don't see my other colleague from Prince Albert, but Mr. Boyson is here. So the two, and I also don't see Mr. Beaufort West municipality. We're still waiting for them to. Mr. Velgamut is also not in at the moment. We're just trying to get them in.
Thank you. Can I ask the representatives from the Laingsburg municipality to introduce themselves, please?
Yes.
I believe it's Mr. Boyson.
Yes, good morning, members of the committee and colleagues. I'm Jafta Boyson from the Laingsburg municipality. Apologies from our side for the mayor. The mayor is currently at the Salga Women's Conference. The other people that are in the house will introduce themselves from Laingsburg.
Thank you. If the other members from the Laingsburg municipality can introduce themselves, please.
Morning, colleagues. I'm Aletta Tron. I'm a ward councillor in Laingsburg municipality.
Good morning, all. I'm John Komanisi. I'm the technical manager at Laingsburg municipality.
Good morning, I'm Lindy from Laingsburg municipality and I'm a ward councillor.
There's one more councillor.
Goeiemôre, ek is Juliet Pieterse, ek is Ward Councillor van Ward 1.
Thank you very much. We now ask for the Prince Albert municipality. Prince Albert. Going twice. Member Pretorius. And Ms.
Chair, the Mayor of Prince Albert has been in touch with me since quite early this morning. They have unexpected load shedding. They have made arrangements to get a generator linked up, and that's probably why they're not with us yet. I think they might have a problem with the generator and literally generating a signal, so to speak. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Member Pretorius. Ms. Kuti?
Good morning, Chairperson. Yes, maybe that's why I just want to add, Mr. Pretorius, they indicated they gave the names of the executive mayor and manager, but most probably due to the load shedding, they're not present. Also, with regards to Beaufort municipality who is here, they had load shedding from 2 till late yesterday evening, but they will provide us the presentation in due course as well.
Good. Thank you, Member Brinkhuis.
Yes, no, good morning, Chair. Good morning, all the members and all the colleagues. I'm here. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you, sir. So can the members from the Beaufort West municipality also introduce themselves, please? Beaufort West? No, Ms. Clinton, are they in the meeting or not?
Chairperson, through you, according to the list of confirmation of names, I don't see anyone in the meeting. I think we can continue, and I'll contact the office shortly just to inquire. Okay. But I received 3 names.
Okay, fantastic. Then members and officials and everyone in the meeting, I just would like to alert you to the rules of engagement. All mics will be muted at the beginning of this meeting, like it was. If members could flag points of order in the chat function of Teams. If you could please keep your video and audio off when you're not speaking. But when you are, if I can ask you put on your mic and not necessarily your video, as it might take more bandwidth. And then all presenters will share their own presentations and unshare them once your briefing has concluded. Without further ado, I'm going to ask the Central Karoo District Municipality to flag the presentation and for their plans for the 23-24 energy infrastructure allocations, including any emergency funding allocated to assist them. Mr. Nkungwana, you may go ahead, sir.
Thanks, Chair. I'm just trying to get the presentation to be flighted.
Okay.
Good day, Chairperson. Do you want us to flag the presentation, sir?
Yes, that will be helpful, please.
All right, we can all see the presentation. Mr. Nkungwana, you can go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much, Chair. And once again, good morning to to you and the honorable members, as well as my colleagues in the district. I must apologize. My mayor is not going to be able to join in. She's in the commission, but the speaker of the municipality will be joining in shortly. We were here to just make our presentation in terms of our municipality received a grant of 350 from Provincial Treasury. This funding was to be used to procure a roaming generator for the Central Karoo, moving between our local municipalities as and when needed. The roaming generator specifications were written to include a trailer. All tenders that responded to this were above the 350 grant. Therefore, and we, the Central Karoo, did not have any additional funding. And then this tender was then re-advertised. We have now applied for this funding to be rolled over because we could not receive any response in relation to that money that we had apportioned for this. We currently have a 5 kVA hybrid inverter system just to run our server and the internet. The inverter is not big enough to run electricity for the entire building, just where we work. The hybrid system cost was just 149, just below 150,000. So what do we then propose moving into the future? We are proposing that we must run a hybrid system for the entire administrative block, that our facilities be covered, our municipality administrative block, the Central Karoo Council offices and chambers. We think that the following should be installed at the various organizational buildings to ensure continuous productivity. 3 times 10 kV inverters, 40 times solar panels, 18.2 kilowatts, 21 kVA battery systems at a cost that we envisage, which will be around 900,000. We are also thinking about our attempts to mitigate or to bring an end to load shedding within our district. And for us to be able to do that, we are proposing that we want to go off the Eskom grid to ease the burden of load shedding for Beaufort West, Lensburg, and Prince Albert. And for that to happen, we should be installing the following: 3.15 kVA inverters, 122 times solar panels at 55.5 kilowatts, 6 times 28.8 kilowatts battery systems, at a total cost of around 2.6 million. Together with this, our municipality will explore other energy-saving solutions to get the entire Central Karoo district, Lensburg, Prince Albert, Merville, Leeuwgamka, Beaufort West, Nelspruit, Maritzburg, off the Eskom grid. Thank you very much. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gungwana. Members, I see there's the Beaufort West Mayor is there. I thank you very much, Ms. Klutzer. Members, are there any questions to the presentation?
Chairperson, Chair.
Yes, Member Dugmore.
No, thank you very much for the presentation. I would just like to ask the municipality as to how much support they have received so far from the provincial government in these attempts to, provide energy security. I'd just like to ask how much has been received in the way of support financially from the provincial government. Thanks.
Thank you. Sorry, members, I just wasn't sure if that was a question or just a comment. But if I could ask you to limit it to 3 questions. Thank you, Member Dugmore, for that. Members Christian, Bartman, and Kondlo, and I think Member Maseko also had a hand up. Member Christians?
Thank you, Chairperson, and thank you for the presentation. Just,
the municipal manager, I think it said that they got money from the province and it was included a trailer as well. Did they go back to Provincial Treasury to say we could not find anything? Is there maybe some assistance further to the amount that they received? Just maybe to answer that question, because they were looking and putting out adverts and they could not get what they required because of costs. So that's the first question. The second question is with the inverters and the batteries and the solar panels, the 2.6 that they were talking about, is that the solar panels, does that then assist with, and the battery? I don't understand. So the inverter is then the power the inverter gets from the solar panels and the batteries then stored. They don't get it. They don't pull it off the grid. Is that what I'm hearing? The 2.6 million, they're not taking it from the grid from Eskom. They're taking it from the solar panels that goes stored up in the battery for additional power. I just want to be clear on that. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Member Christians. Member Bartman.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chair, in terms of the proposal that was made, it is quite ambitious, the proposal in terms of how to then go off and what needs to be funded. So my first question is, how much money will be then spent from the CKDM budget? How will this essentially be funded, this respective proposal that was made? And my second question regarding the solar panels that were mentioned, I don't know if it was the CKDM municipality or the Beaufort West municipality that spent the respective money, but I do recall that solar panels were put into the Nelspruit area and that they were then subsequently stolen, if I recall correctly. So my question is then that if you are then going to be spending money on putting solar panels in, what will the municipality do in order to safeguard the respective solar panels so that they are not stolen? Thank you.
Thank you, Member Bartman. Member Nkondlo.
Morning, Chair, and thank you for the presentation. Chair, I'm not sure whether is Provincial Treasury in the meeting. Can I check that? Because I just wanted to ask a question to them.
Member Nkondlo, Provincial Treasury was not invited to this meeting, so they're not in the meeting, I'm afraid.
Oh, all right. Now, the question I wanted to ask, because I see the acting MM indicates that they received 350,000 a grant from Treasury for their energy needs. So unfortunately, if they're not here, because I was trying to understand if there is a standard figure or there is a proportional allocation of these grants to these municipalities, because having gone through the other municipalities, I'm actually, if I'm not correct, I've seen at most all the other municipalities have received almost 1 million and above. So that's why I wanted to ask that. Having said that, I would like to understand then from the acting MM that on average, given what they received from the bids, what would be the market cost of generators that they require as part of this program that I think the province is implementing across. So from those bids that he indicated that they were above 350, what is an average rate of the generators that they need to get in order to at least be able to secure such a generator? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Member Nkondlo. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 questions. So I'm going to allow Member Marais to ask his questions as it was not so many. Member Marais?
Thank you so much, Chairperson. Thank you to the gentleman who presented, Mr. Nsangizi. My question basically is, when the Western Cape Parliament gave you 350,000, was this a response to a request by you that you needed 350,000? Or was this a thumb-sucking exercise giving you 350,000, not even knowing what your total needs were. Were there any discussions between your municipality, Central Karoo District, and the Western Cape government about your needs prior to them giving you a pittance 350,000? Was there any discussions? Where did this 350,000 figure come from? How did they get to 350,000? Did you ask for it, or didn't you ask for any money?
Thank you. I'm so sorry. I did see Member Maseko's hand and then it disappeared. I'm sorry. Member Maseko, you can go ahead, please. I'm so sorry.
I'm covered, Chair. I'm okay.
Thank you. Once again, I do apologize. Okay, Mr. Kungwana, could you answer those questions, please?
Very much, Chairperson. I will attempt to answer some of the questions, and my colleagues who are also in the room will actually then also speak to other matters that in addition to what I will be saying. I think the first question that was asked by Honorable Cameroon in terms of the support that has been received so far, I think we did say that there has been this 350,000 that was intended for as a roaming generator to move in and around district. Unfortunately, there was no responsive bid to the extent that we had to request a rollover for this. But also it goes with what Member Murray is talking about, and also Honorable Member Ngondlo. The 350,000 in itself was wholly not enough. Is wholly not enough for our need. We have indicated that, for example, to Honorable Ngondlo, that money to the value of around 900,000 would be sufficient for at least this particular thing of the generator. So 350 is wholly not necessarily enough. But the gesture that was shown by the provincial government, Honorable Member Murray, is welcomed. That it may not have been necessarily our request, that but the gesture was actually then welcome. There's an issue around security of the solar panels, that because some of them were stolen in Nelsport when they were put. The municipality is going to, in an event this injection is made by the provincial government, the municipality will take it upon itself to provide security then for these solar panels, such that they are not either vandalized or stolen. So we'll appropriate in our own budgeting trajectory for security services to ensure that what then has been reported to shall have happened in Nelsport does not happen again. We have appropriated a cost in the short to medium term of 2.6 million that we think we need for us to be able to procure these solar panels. This kind of money, honorable members, we do not have as a municipality. Honorable members will be reminded that our municipality does not necessarily have money. We depend then on PT or NT to be able to support us. I would just want to perhaps also hand over to my colleagues if they have anything further to say on this matter, Honorable Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Strong and Link. Would you like to add to that, sirs?
Chair, my name Ralph Links. I just would like to add, the committee must take this into perspective from a 1 billion rand project for emergency energy, the Central Karoo in its entirety got 1.5 million. That includes our local municipality. It's just short of 1.5 million. So I think it's 1.450 that we got. So of that, the Central Karoo district got 350, and it was with the proviso that we are procuring a generator only that can be carried on a trailer, and it was for emergency instances that would be happening in our local municipalities. So yes, we did give our requirements to the province. All the municipalities did, but we did not get. I think also what is important to note, Chair, is that we had numerous of discussions with the province with regards to the shortage of funding that the district municipality has received, the entire district. We were promised that there will be an engagement with us as a Central Karoo to look at avenues how the province can assist us. Up until today, nothing has taken place. So just from a background point of view, in terms of that, the 350 and the rest of the money, as you would committee would hear from other municipalities, apparently there was an engineering team in the province that were working on the different submissions made by the municipalities, and that engineering team came up with the amount and what a municipality will be required and how the process needs to unfold within municipalities. So as the acting MM was saying, we accepted the gesture that came from the province in terms of the 350, but it made it impossible for us to go to the market and actually request that. So even the tender processes we could not conclude, as of the money was not enough for us to proceed. So I just would like to add that so that the committee can have the background in terms of what our position was when the project was implemented with in terms of the emergency fund. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Strong.
Thank you, Chair. Just to add on that, there was an issue of the Nelsport solar panels being stolen. Just on that, a lot of businesses in Beaufort West is going this route, the solar route. I think Beaufort has more patrols also, so I don't think that will be an issue here. But from our side, we do have armed response. So our building is fully protected, if I can say that. And then on the 350,000, we had a meeting with Provincial Treasury, us at Central Karoo and the local municipalities, and we questioned the amounts that we got. And I think Laingsburg will elaborate on that as well, because they only got 60,000. So what was told to us is that they used the formula. They couldn't elaborate on the formula, what it was, but they used the formula to calculate the amounts, and they said they will revisit that, but yeah, it was never looked at again. We did ask for co-funding for the Department of Infrastructure, because they fund the roads department and we have a good relationship with them. So we asked them for co-funding for this roaming generator, but that was also shot down. And then there was a question, was the 350,000 what we requested? That's no. We could only look at generators in that vicinity, in that range, sorry. That's why but everything that came in was above 440,000. We received, I think, up to 9 tenders, and all of it was above 440. So yeah, that's just more background on that. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Members, I'm going to afford a second round of questions. Member Barre, was that a legacy hand or would like to ask a further question? And then Member Bartlett.
I just want to know what is the utilization of this energy compared to production of this energy. What percentage of that is it, especially about your solar panels? Because I know that solar, you don't have solar at night or where there's no sun. So how much of that can you actually utilize? What's the percentage? 20, 30, 40% utilization?
Thank you very much. Members Bartman and then Kondlo. Member Bartman.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, only 2 questions from my side. The first one, I just want to find out, so the solar panels that are being proposed, are those then that are being planned for the municipal buildings and not in the respective areas? And then secondly, I wanted to find out, I know that in the Central Karoo, the audit outcomes have been adverse and disclaimers and qualified and so on. So I just want to understand how will essentially, if we gave the Central Karoo extra money as a province, what guarantees or internal controls would they put in place in order to ensure that the money is being spent on what the money was given for, so that matters such as irregular expenditure, matters such as the Auditor General saying that they don't have enough evidence in order to be able to even audit certain matters, don't come up in the future? Thank you.
Chair, can I just, so that they understand my question, will you allow me to rephrase?
Okay, yes, you can rephrase it.
Right. What I'm trying to say, you have a certain capacity, okay? Now, what percentage of that capacity can you utilize? Because I want to see the bigger picture about this solar panels and where the sun shines 3-4 hours a day, and do we really get our money's worth out of solar energy? I just want to know how much of that, because at night, of course, there's no solar energy. What is the utilization in relation to the cost of these panels?
Thank you very much, Member Kondlo.
No, thank you, Chair. Can I also find out from you, Chair, is local government, the provincial local government, also invited or in the meeting? Or also
they're not in this meeting, ma'am. They were in a previous meeting, but they're not in this meeting.
Also, they were not invited for this meeting?
Not to this meeting, no.
Okay. Can I just check then? The team.
Sorry, a point of order, Chair. Point of order.
Yes, Member Dagmo.
Chairperson, my point of order, and I apologize for interrupting Member Kondlo, but it is simply unacceptable that when we have local governments coming before this committee, we don't have the Department of Local Government. So could we ask the Department of Local Government to send someone to this meeting so that they can clarify why, as it would appear from what we've heard so far, that there's been a complete and deliberate underfunding of the municipalities here. Could we please direct immediately to this meeting? Otherwise, we're not going to get the answers we need.
Okay, Member Dagmo, you did break up there for a second. What we did do is we had them in the first meeting to this, and Hello? Okay. What
Chair,
we
I can
did,
still hear you. No, my point of order was that we are not going to get the answers we need without a representative of the Department of Local Government being here. And in fact, for all these meetings where municipalities are appearing, it seems to me, unless we get other information, that there's been a deliberate underfunding of the Central Karoo district and the municipalities, which we've become used to in terms of other departments where, because they're not governed by the DA, they get underfunded. So can we please, my order is, can we please ask the Department of Local Government to come to this meeting so that we can clarify this matter?
okay, what we can do, member Dagmore, we did have them in the first meeting and we didn't ask them again to come. But what we can do is we can invite them to the 27th of September's meeting, and we can also add a resolution for them to we can send a resolution asking them why specifically the Central Karoo has been underfunded, or what formula have they used to, can they not just send the formula to us so we can exercise oversight or that? Because this money is related to disaster management. So I said we will send a resolution to them and we will ask them to appear on the 27th of September's meeting as well. Member Nkondlo, you may go ahead.
No, thank you, Chair. Because one would have thought that it would have been standard to have both provincial treasury and local government in this meeting, especially because we're dealing about grant funding for indeed a very specific and special dispensation that has been done by provincial government to ensure that there is somewhat sufficient funding available, and such a funding must be equitably distributed. So I would think, Chair, in support of what you are suggesting as a resolution, but we have to make this particularly on this as we are concluding these discussions of municipalities, because then would you ask, the municipality is going to say, this is what they say, but now you can't verify and get the side of that particular department, whether it's treasury or it's local government, so that we can at least get a better oversight, because that is the function of this, is to oversight, what is the implementation of this provincial government on the issue of the energy crisis. Let me proceed with my questions, Chair,
yes.
to the municipality again, to the district. One is to say, I've seen that they indicate that they've requested for rollover of these funds, notwithstanding that there is process of rollovers that obviously would follow, the budget adjustments and everything. But I just want to understand from the acting MM whether they've received, some kind of a acknowledgement of such a rollover of those particular funds, but also in light of that rollover, because that is a rollover of a 350 with an average of a 450 generator. So you're still going to have a gap or shortage in as far as that funding or that generator is concerned. How is that going to be attended to? Because if you roll over, it doesn't mean you get more money. If that money gets to be approved or that rollover is approved, you get the same allocation. So I just want to understand that as my first question. My second one, Chair, is just to check with the municipality that what I know it's outside of their presentation, but what do they have any update on the gas project which a national government has been talking about in Central Karoo, which also seeks to assist not only Central Karoo but the entire country in terms of a diversified energy mix? So do they have any information? If they don't, can they be able to share that information, even if it's later, with us through yourself? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Member Nkondlo. Member van der Westerhuizen.
Okay, thank you. Chair, in our engagements with other municipalities, some of them said that, yes, the money didn't quite cover what they wanted to do. And I think that is a general thing also now with our disaster, with the floods. We don't expect national government to fully reimburse us for the full costs, but they then augmented the money out of their own funding just to ensure that they got the second generator, whatever the case may be. Now, it seems to me as if the shortfall here was in the order of 90,000 Rand. And my question is just, 90,000 Rand is 1 or 2 months of a senior official salary. What prohibited you from adding on to the 350,000? I think the figure mentioned was 440,000 was the lowest bid that came in. What stood in your way of proceeding with the procurement by adding 90,000 Rand, which in terms of your total budget don't seem to be that excessive, and that would have enabled you to assist a number of the also struggling C municipalities. Thank you. I'm afraid the local municipalities. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Member van der Westhuizen. That concludes the questions.
So, Member van der Westhuizen, you suggest they should have taken salary of 2 officials to augment. Very interesting.
Thank you. Mr. Nkungwana, can you answer those questions, please?
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Once again, myself and my colleagues will collectively respond to these questions. But just to perhaps to begin by saying, it is exactly premised on what Member Bartman was saying, which is a worrying thing for me. The Central Karoo has not received any advice or disclaimer or anything of that nature. I'm not sure whether we are answering on the sins of others. But the Central Karoo District Municipality has received clean audit, unqualified, qualified. For the past 3 years, there's no adverse, no disclaimer, opinion from the AG in terms of this particular municipality. Now, it stands to reason that, as Member Bartman puts it, that probably these calculations that are being made to limit or to squeeze the injection to the Central Karoo to something like 350,000 is premised on this wrong conception that the municipality is necessarily receiving these negative outcomes. And that for me is worrying, Honorable Chair, because it is not true. We are worried because, Honorable Nkondlo, that even as we have applied for this rolled over, it will still not change the price of cheese, because if it comes back as 350,000, it still does not change the price of cheese. We are still where we are in terms of the problem. Hence, we are saying that there's a need for a proper injection. My colleague Links says that the cake was around 1 billion, and our district just under 1.5 million. It did not appreciate the challenges that we actually then have as a district. It did not appreciate that that we need to be doing to ensure that we provide or we respond to our energy crisis. Honorable Bartman, the solar panels are not only meant in the short to medium term. We're talking about municipal buildings, our plants, and so on, so that municipal business can continue. But in the medium to long term, we want to energize our communities to ensure that, as I said earlier on when I started speaking, that we can completely mitigate or move out of the grid of ESCOM. Mr. Links is going to speak to this national, energy mix that Honorable Nkondlo is talking about, and provide just some perspective in terms of where we are, what is happening in relation to that. And I'm going to allow Mr. Strong to speak in part of what Honorable Marais was saying in terms of the percentages of this, or rather the utilization or of these particular interventions. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Links first, Mr. Links.
Thank you very much, Chair. Maybe if I can just touch also on Honorable van der Westhuizen's commented, Honorable van der Westhuizen. If I listened correctly, he said for the second generator, they augmented their budget. Now we did augment our, we did make provision for the 100,000 rand in our adjustment budget. But remember, that was also, we had to wait for the procurement process, for the rollover process to be concluded for us to continue with that process. Most probably, if we go to the market again, when the rollover is approved, that's also if the rollover will be approved. So just to come back to what the MM said, if the premise is on the basis that we can, there is no controls, which is not the case in the past 3 years for Central Karoo District Municipality, then if the rollover is not approved, then the generator will also fall flat, in the provision that we made, that 100,000 rand to actually conclude that process will not be concluded. So that's a if, and it's a big if the rollover will be approved. Then go back to the sale gas project. That's the project that we currently have, is that we have developed this time around with the study that has been done by Geoscience and also the Petroleum Agency of South Africa, is that we have determined now the beginning phases of the exercise. And as the district municipality and the municipality surrounding the district, we decided that the public participation process should not be done by the after the bidding process. The public participation processes, engaging with stakeholders, should happen before, and we've developed now a engagement sort of matrix as how will we be engaging, so that the process of engaging with the stakeholders will be starting in the next month or two, so that we be taking back the studies and the outcome of the studies, which indicate the sweet spots, and which will be indicating exactly where we might be able to find the commercial viability for the sale gas. And that, so we've also made sale gas part of our 10 priority projects within the district municipality, and we are discussing our priority projects on a continuous basis in the JDMA. There's another discussion that will be taking place tomorrow with the provincial government and everybody in the room, where we also discussing it. We are also planning to take this whole process to our economic development summit that we will be hosting in November this year, so that we showcase the mining and also the sale gas and the renewable energy projects that is available within the district. So that's the sort of long and short of where we are in the process, but we're working very closely with PASA and also Geosciences. Geosciences has already made 3 presentations at our council meeting, informing council exactly how far the studies is. So the studies is basically complete. We are waiting on the minister to lift the moratorium. Once the moratorium is lifted, then I think the processes will unfold. Thank you, Chair. That is my input.
Thank you very much. Mr. Strong, did you want to say something?
Thank you, Chair. To answer the first question, I'm not going to talk percentages, but before I go into what that system can produce, Beaufort West has sun for most of the year. We have maybe maximum 2 weeks where we don't have sun. So the system will be utilized fully. So the system that the MM made mention in his presentation to go off the grid, that system can produce 288 kilowatt per day. Now, we did research for 8 months, and we tracked that we need about 226 kilowatts per day. So that system is more than enough for us to go fully off the grid. That is on the provision that we don't work weekends, which we don't. So that is only for a 21-day working week, working month, sorry. And then weekends, the energy we produce, that is also planned so that we can sell it. So in terms of that, we can make money and in the long term pay for it again, if it makes sense. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Strong. I just see that Member Bartman was also written in the chat, was not referring to the CKDM, was asking for in terms of the support to the respective municipalities, how will they help with internal controls? I don't know if you want to give some comment on that, Mr. Kungwana, or not?
No, it's fine, Chair. It's fine. So what we are doing as a district municipality, it's most unfortunate now that perhaps Beaufort West is not here. But what we are doing, we are trying all our best, also for more, to support the B municipalities in terms of financial management. At this point, we are assisting. I know my CFO is there even today. He was there yesterday to deal with the issue of the FRP, so that we get that the Beaufort West municipality to be functional municipality again. We are doing so as to all municipalities, Lensburg municipality, Prince Albert municipality. We have had our own meetings with the municipalities to say, how is it that we can then support you in the areas where you need our support? Just now, this minute, I have just signed off a support package to the Beaufort West municipality in terms of the service delivery matters, because they cannot deliver service delivery given their own financial situation. So I accept what Member Bartman is saying in terms of then that there are those challenges in the Bs, and we are doing everything in our own power as a district municipality to be able to assist the B municipalities to be functional again, the way, for example, Beaufort West municipality used to be when Mr. Boyson was at the helm of it in the past. So we are on a good trajectory to assist them, Lensburg, Prince Albert, and so on. So we're responding, and we are asking Provincial Treasurer and COCTA in the province. I had a meeting with the HOD of roads in terms of saying the department must be at the cold front, at the center of assisting us to be able to assist our B municipalities. So that comment in that fashion is appreciated and welcome, Chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm going to take one final round of questions for this presentation. Member van der Westerhuizen.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Chair, and it's heartwarming to hear that the municipalities are assisting in building capacity, and helping each other, and really thank you for that and for that attitude that you're also displaying. My question was to avoid rollover. It seems to me as if a 90,000 or 100,000 rand would have been able to avert that risk. So, to what extent would it have been you've been able to augment that money? As I've said, so other municipalities were able to do that, and again, I was hoping that we would be able to share best practices amongst municipalities. I do know that procurement in the local government, well, actually in government, is a very difficult challenge, and there are so many rules and regulations. But sometimes people do find creative ways of staying within the law and keeping the Auditor General happy, and still be able to achieve what some of the others are unable to achieve. So perhaps if you could just tell us, why did you rather go the route of applying for a rollover than to add out of own funding for the procurement of those generators? Thank you.
Thank you. And then finally, there's member Nkondlo as well. Members Marais and Nkondlo.
Thank you very much, Speaker. I'm very excited and interested in the reference to shale gas utilization, because there are millions of tons of shale gas in the Karoo. But so far, we have been prevented by environmental issues to make use of it, and I believe it's quite costly. So I would like to know exactly what is your involvement in using shale gas. You say it's in the beginning phases, and that you have in private partnership with stakeholders within the next few months. Will environmentalists be part of this PPP? And to which extent is National Minister of Electricity involved in the talks and discussions about the use of shale gas in the Karoo? Thank you.
Thank you. Then member Nkondlo.
No, thanks, Chair. And I think, Chair, our earlier discussion that we need to have these two departments becomes very apparent so that we can help ourselves as members, because I think we are indeed politicians, and at times we want to engage on politics more than what is the subject matter. Because I think, Chair, we would need to, I think, engage Treasury, because I would think, having listened to other municipalities, even when they've actually augmented on the funds, there has been a number of municipalities in that we have already engaged and have presented, who have indicated that they have submitted rollover, either for the fact that the money arrived, at a time when already they could not utilize or go on tender for varied reasons. So I would think it will be important in the resolutions that actually we pose these questions to Treasury so that we really understand, because my biggest issue here is that as we were starting with this process, Treasury would have indicated studies that would have been done. Actually, when we even started with the Municipal Resilience Project, that there were studies that Treasury would have funded different municipalities, so that on questions of what is the average market rate, of the type of support that will be required, whether in the form of inverters, generators, or all of these things that are required for this project. At least we've got some kind of a cost estimate, so that whatever that is being given in this very important gesture, which I agree with the acting it's a great gesture from the Provincial Treasury to assist municipalities. Also understanding the financial state of all municipalities, because that information is within a Provincial Treasury who ensures that they do that as part of their mandate. We understand what are the cost benefit analysis, what is the cost estimate, and then we can give due funding where it is required. So I think for me, it will be important to have Treasury helping us to understand this particular quagmire. The one issue, Chair, that I think also becomes important from where I'm sitting, it's not even a question to the municipality now. I think it would be important for us, I think as this committee, as part of our oversight, perhaps to get the energy plans of all these municipalities, because I'm sure over and above what we are doing, there is anyway a requirement of each municipality to have their own energy plans so that they can meet their own energy demands or security for their citizens and industry in those. So perhaps it's one of the things that we need to be able to have, so that we can have sight, of yes, the crisis that we're dealing with, but also whether indeed all municipalities are sitting with energy plans for current and for future, a demand of the electricity, including the fact that already we've got a load shedding as a major crisis that is affecting us all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I do see Member Dagmore.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, what I wanted to ask, from what I saw from the presentation, there was basically a plan as to what the district would need, the solar panels and so on. But one reads in the media about various private sector developments. Like I actually saw there on the side of one of the roads, like when you go out of Beaufort West, like not up the N1 or down the N1, it's somewhere on another road as you go through the town, through the suburbs at the back. I saw like a whole solar farm. And we've been reading in the media, various announcements about, investment energy and by the private sector and linking up to the grid, which I understand is a comparative advantage that Beaufort West has, because the power transmission lines are, literally, as I understand it, go all the way down the N1 and, can supply the mines in Joburg, etc., etc. So I just want to know, what can municipality, district, or any other municipality tell us about private sector investment, and whether, in terms of whatever plans people have, whether they've explored the options of a partnership there, a public-private partnership, procuring some of that municipality which is coming from existing wind farms. There was nothing to that effect in the presentation that I saw. I hope I didn't miss it. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Member Dugmore. Mr. Nkungwana, if you could answer those final questions, please.
No, thank you very much, Chairperson. Just perhaps to start there with Honorable Dugmore. I indicated at the end of the presentation that there are some other initiatives that we are exploring as a district, with the ultimate aim of ending or of responding to the energy challenge in total in our district, and that includes also listening in or inviting some private sector role players. We have a MACO in the following week where we'll receive a presentation from some private sector role players in relation to the response to our energy situation. Like I said, that we have an intention to actually end or get ourselves off the Eskom grid. There is a formula Eskom uses that can actually, if you utilize less, that you could actually then be spared of some of the load shedding schedules. So that's our first target, to test if that is actually going to work. So in other words, the district in itself, without PT or anybody else, is doing some work in ensuring that we are able to respond to the energy crisis. In as much as Honorable van der Westhuizen talked about how we could have been proactive by appropriating probably the 9,000. We will be reminded that HOD Ralph spoke to the fact that we had appropriated in our adjustment budget the 100,000. That was a shortfall. But you'll also be reminded, Chairperson, that this injection of that came, this 350 injection came around February or so. You'll be reminded that our financial year ends in June, which means that this injection came actually at the end, at Q4, in terms of the municipality. Now, this in itself creates a problem, a planning problem for municipalities when these injections come at that particular time, because we then had to go to the market and we could not find any responsive bid to actually then deal with this particular 350. So that's why we asked for a rollover. But I'll allow once again HOD links to talk about this interface, this national and our municipality interface, because he has been tasked by myself to project manage that whole process with regards to our energy engagements with the national department. Over to HOD Ralph.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, just to answer the question around Member Marais' question around the environmentalists being part. We took about 2 months to sort of identify and map our stakeholders. So part of our stakeholders includes farmers, it includes environmentalists, it includes municipalities, it even includes NGOs, CBOs. So we've really spent some time to identify and to map our stakeholders in this process, and that this process, the municipality actually request from our partners, which is Geosciences and also PASA in this matter, in the Central Energy Fund, being the parent for these institutions, that the municipality forms an integral part of the public participation process in there. So we need to make sure that in the environmentalist engagement, that the communities are involved, that the communities are represented, and that, so that would be our role, to ensure that the public participation process ensures that the communities are taking sort of along with the project, and how far the project and how the project will be implemented. The responsibility then is of the other partners, which is represented here in the partnership, is the Central Energy Fund would take the responsibility to ensure that the relevant government departments are sort of involved in the process. So each stakeholder is being sort of categorized in terms of a tier system, and that tier system works on a basis of importance, at what level. So we've done that exercise, and we sure that this time around we're gonna make sure that the public participation process is thorough, and it includes the communities of the Central Karoo district up until the level before the licenses are issued, if we get to that process. Remember that after the studies, it's then there are phases in which the project will be rolled out in terms of financial viability and also commercial viability of the project. So those phases, we also would like the communities to be sort of abreast in terms of, so there's report back sessions that will go after every phase, that will go, then we'll go back to the community. So there's a whole stakeholder engagement program that is developed. I don't have a problem. I don't think it's a confidential document. We can share that document with the members. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Links. Thank you to Mr. Nkungwana, to Mr. Links and Mr. Strong for your presentation and answering our questions. That concludes our deliberations on the Central Karoo District Municipality. We will now move over to the Laingsburg Municipality. That would be Mr. Boyson. Would you like to flag your presentation, sir? Or shall I ask Ms. Kuti to flag it for you?
Good morning, Chair. Chair, now Mr. John Komandisi, the Technical Director, will actually do our presentation.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mr. Komandisi. If you can go ahead, please, sir. Thank you. We can see the presentation. If you can just put it on presenter mode. If you put it on presenter mode, sir, that'll assist us.
I am just doing it. It's taking a lag, Chairperson.
Oh, okay.
So I hope the chair can see it on presenter mode now.
Yeah, but I can see the next slide as well. But I mean, if you can't get it right, then it's fine. We can just go ahead and go for the presentation, because I think we can see it basically as well. Yeah.
Let's go.
There we go. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thanks, Chair. Chair, I won't bore you with the introductions. We all know why we're here. Just as an introduction on this presentation, energy in the municipal space, Chair, is not just a crisis as it pertains to energy itself, but energy is a backbone of the entire industry when it comes to municipalities. All our services are dependent on energy. This results in huge expenses to keep up these municipal functions, whilst resulting in losses to the existing municipal revenue model. And also, while this is happening, the municipality, being the most impacted, is not part of the conversation when it comes to the future of the energy discussions within South Africa. We're not represented when it comes to NECOM. We're not represented in the Provincial Energy Committee. Nowhere is municipalities really represented. There is an agent of the municipality in the name of SALGA, but SALGA in itself, without staying and living within a municipal space, it's difficult to speak for the municipality. Currently, the future is of any municipality in South Africa, and especially the less resourced municipalities in South Africa, is a dark one. And we are busy crippling municipalities with the lack of energy and the cost of energy in the municipal space. When it comes to the allocation of energy infrastructure, the municipality is not the benefit of any energy infrastructure allocation. This municipality was last funded by Department of Energy through the INEP program to upgrade our bulk network in 2020-2021. The municipality cannot also benefit from the social funding available from in the municipal area due to the renewable independent power producers. People will know it as the wind farms that is being built in the Central Karoo. There is a condition from the National Department of Mining and Mineral Resource and Energy that the renewable fund should not spend the social funding on any municipal infrastructure. So this municipality, the community benefits, but the municipality doesn't benefit directly from any of that funding. From the emergency funding, the 88 million rand that is being discussed today, the municipality received a measly 60,000 rand to procure a 20 kVA generator. I must add to that, we requested 740,000 rand from the Department of Local Government, and we received the 60,000 rand as an allocation. The municipality tested the market 3 times and found that the generators in the market, you can't get them cheaper with 20 kVA now. You can't get them cheaper than 130,000 rand. The smaller generators won't back up our critical water and sewer pumps, and they won't be of any use to this project. The municipality informed the department, and the department agreed to top up funding. We are tentatively waiting on that top-up funding, and there is a tentative confirmation that the department is considering top-up funding. Impact on our municipal services. The municipality has increased, obviously, its spending on fuel to keep the critical services running, and this is water purification, water supply, sanitation reticulation, the administrative, only the main administrative building. The municipality has also lost revenue in the following forms: in a reduction of profit margins on energy sales because of the cost of energy from Eskom and the allowable increases that NERSA allows. A reduction in profit margin means a reduction in the ability to cross-subsidize on the unfunded services of the municipalities, i.e. your roads, your landfill sites, and the list goes on. the increase of the non-revenue services demand due to the big construction projects within the municipal space, because there's now more people in the town, there's an increase on the demand of these non-revenue services that we render, meaning that although we're losing revenue to cross-subsidize those services, we also have to increase the funding for those non-revenue services because the demand has increased. Losses in customers because customers are now going for cheaper alternatives. And an example of that, you can now basically rent a solar system from a company for 1,000 rand less than it would cost you to buy electricity direct from a municipality, which has a huge impact on municipal customers exiting the energy space and going independent. Losses of bulk customers due to finding alternative energy sources to maintain operational, and a lot of the bulk customers don't have a choice to maintain operational levels and escape Eskom. They need to find alternative energy sources, even if they are expensive. In conclusion, all this means that all municipalities need to relook the South African model of municipal function and mandates, as the landscape has dramatically changed and created an unavoidable negative impact on the municipal environment. The energy crisis, in essence, is no more an energy crisis, but a watershed moment when it comes to the country, and this needs to be used to reconfigure the municipal model. Our dependency on foreign energy sources is our Achilles heel, not just in the realm of diplomacy, but in terms of our future as a world economic leader. And I use that quote, the Central Karoo can become an economic leader and in South Africa with the renewable abundance that we have available. But currently, legislation within the local government space has made us dependent on either private PPEs or the Eskom model. It's difficult for a municipality either to build its own generation capacity or even to engage in a tender for private generation. There is a mechanism to engage in private tendering for IPPs, but the loopholes that a municipality needs to go through, it's not worth the effort for a small municipality. And I thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Komanisi. Members, I will now take a round of questions. The first round, I see Member Murray, Member Bartman. Mr. Komanisi, you can stop sharing as well if you don't mind. Member Murray and Member Bartman for now. Thank you. Member Murray.
Thank you so much. I must say I'm very sad today to see how the municipalities in the Karoo, Central Karoo, is struggling. The hopelessness I notice in their presentation, a hopelessness that we cannot anymore deny has been caused by central government bungling of energy supply. But now the conclusion is what drew my attention. It says all this means that all municipalities need to relook at the South African model of municipal functions and mandates.
Member Murray. Member Murray. I think we've lost him because he did say he's got load shedding from 10. I think we've lost him. If I can go on to Member Bart. Thanks, Ms. Kuti. If you could follow up with Member Murray. Ms. Bartman, if you can, Member Bartman, if you can go ahead.
Thank you, Chairperson Chair, and Good morning to Mr. Komanisi. In Langsburg, we are just John and Deirdre, but today I'll use all of my fancy English. I want to just find out whether the municipality has had a conversation with Roggeveld and Anel Karusa yet. I know that mineral resources and energy obviously procure from them, but sometimes when it comes to wind farms, they may possibly be producing more energy than what is being procured from them. Because then if they are producing perhaps more energy than what is procured from them, perhaps Langsburg can have a conversation with them as to if there was an IPP, what would the pricing be, how much energy would be available, or if they see that, okay, perhaps the municipality might be quite small in terms of the amount of extra energy and or the price point, the local municipality could then make a proposal then to the central Karoo municipality perhaps in this regard as to what those respective wind farms could generate in this regard. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Member Bartman. Member Nkondlo.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you to Mr. Komanisi for the presentation. With what he has just raised, I'm interested to know what has been your engagement with the Provincial Treasury around, as you articulate a different model of municipality, particular financing, because I'm sure over and above energy, including COVID, has actually brought reality of public financing that can never be the same, because if you consider the different crises, whether from load shedding to this, that is an issue. And I remember provincial government had actually started a project, a big project within, I think, Premier, if I'm not mistaken, to look at future financing. So I'm interested whether have you had such a conversation, on that you are putting and you are arguing here about, the kind of challenges that you are seeing, which I think everybody else has been. I think municipalities' revenue base or revenue model has been an issue from SALCA to, I think, even committees, NCOP and national. I think this has been an ongoing conversation. So that's the first question. The second one, Chair, I just want to understand from him that my assumption, if I understand, that they would not have gone to any bidding process because the money that they received was viewed as insufficient, and therefore they managed to negotiate with provincial treasury to get on, which already there is an indication that they will do that. So that is the understanding, if I'm correct with that understanding, and go out and get the generator. And what exactly, I think in terms of that plan, what is it that as the municipality that they will be doing once they get that particular money, if they can just share that aspect. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Member Nkondlo. Member Christians.
Thank you, Chair. Just a question. I heard the gentleman saying, they have received a measly 60,000 Rand. And we know that, as they said previously in the previous presentation, that engineers went out and then they came up with the sums. Did the municipality have any input in that 60,000 to say, listen, this is not sufficient? If we want to do X, Y, and Z, this is what the amount we need. And if the municipality, like he said, there'll have to be new innovations and stuff. But if the municipality does not receive any funding going forward, are they? And I know what he mentioned, but I'm just saying, is there maybe those plans to mitigate load shedding from the municipal level? So I know there's different things spoken about, but I'm just saying that 60,000, and also because ultimately affects the people, and I'm extremely worried about businesses being affected in the area. So if you can just give us a rundown, did they have any input with the 60,000? Did they communicate with Provincial Treasury on that? And did they,
if they don't receive any funding going further, where does it place them as a municipality? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Member Christians. I don't see further hands, so Mr. Komanisi, if you could provide comment and answers on those questions, please, sir.
Chair, maybe can I respond to some of them as the MM, and then Mr. Komanisi will follow. I will respond to the last question first, Chairperson, the one on the issue of the 60,000. When the 16,000 was announced as a municipality, I wrote a letter to the Department of Local Government and asked them nicely, please do not gazette the 60,000. You can have it back because the 16,000, the municipality can do nothing with it. That's what we can prove we have done. They just went on to say, no, they're going to gazette the money. And we've told them up front, the money you got is a conditional grant. So it means they give you 60,000 rand for a 20 kV. So you can't take the 60,000 and buy a 15 kV or a 10 kV. You have to buy the 20 kV which they prescribed. We also told them that we in the municipal environment, and we talked to our colleagues. George, for instance, George told us, no, on an administrative level, our need was 4 million. We got 12 million. So that's what we do when we get the 60,000 rand, the 16,000 rand. So eventually, they said to us, no, we can. They'll try to top up the money, and we also told them, now we have to go for a rollover because we did ask you not to gazette the money. So we went for the rollover. It seems to be positive, and we have the commitment that there will be a top-up. We don't know whether there's nothing in writing which confirmed it. But that's the issue around the 60,000, Chairperson. The second issue, Chairperson, is the issue of the funding model. On various platforms, the current model is the bigger you are, the more you get from government grants. The smaller you are, the less you get from government grants. Now, Laingsburg is the smallest municipality in the country, meaning for whatever grant funding there is, we will always get the least. So the proposal we have had for years is to say, I don't know, some of the members, you might be familiar with the playing golf. In golf, you got a handicap system. What it means that you can be a good player and you can be a bad player. But when you on the tee, you equal because of the handicap system. And we said this is maybe the direction government would go, because if you look at needs, you can't compare needs in terms of size. We have to explain needs in terms of what people really need on the ground. So that is, for years, our plight to say, please consider a handicap system to make everybody equal. So proportionally, all of us will receive the same amount of money from government. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jafta. Mr. Komanisi, do you want to add anything?
Okay, yes, Chair. Chair, we did have a discussion with the IPPs that's existing. The problem with the IPPs that they pose to us is that when you enter into an IPP contract, the contract is solely between you and Eskom. So whether they produce additional energy, the only thing that they need to do, and sometimes they do produce additional energy, is to switch off the turbines and lock them, put them on a brake system. They may not sell that energy to any third party outside of the Eskom or the agreement side. There is a glimpse of hope, and I'm saying it's a glimpse, it's a long shot. One of the mines in South Africa has now also procured a generation capacity from them, and they're going to put up an additional wind farm exclusively for that mine. And within that discussion, we are trying to have a bilateral with the mine, the wind producer or the generator, and the municipality to have an offtake agreement for the municipality. But that also then won't solve load shedding, because the wheeling agreement will be through the Eskom grid, and the Eskom grid switches off when they need to switch off your area. The discussion with National Treasury regarding the model, the I think, covered that in every opportunity we get, we do speak on this. And the has added the manner in which we foresee a handicap system assisting us. We must also add to that discussion that the principle in municipalities currently is that municipalities make money. That is from their clients. But a municipality like Laingsburg has a low tax base, which means it's grant dependent. And once you are grant dependent, the difficulty is the assumption that the municipality must make around about 80% of its own revenue falls out of the door. So that's a bigger discussion besides the allocation discussion. It's just how we view a municipality as a functional entity or as a business. That discussion needs to go further. There's responsibilities on municipalities currently to have a town planner, to have an engineer running some of the services, obviously to have a qualified CFO, to have a qualified municipal manager, to have a qualified corporate manager. All of those people don't come for cheap, and that responsibility doesn't change between the city of Cape Town and Laingsburg. Currently, Laingsburg sits with a lot of those positions vacant and not filled, because we just can't afford to fill those positions. But legally, we must have those positions, and there's no funding model to fund those positions within local government currently. And that's just on the administrative side. I don't want to talk about the services side. When we go to bidders, we did go out on 3 rounds of procurement. And on all 3 rounds of procurement, as I mentioned in my presentation, the minimum cost for a 20 kVA generator was 130,000 Rand. We then engaged for the top-up funding, as mentioned, with Department of Local Government. But as mentioned, that top-up funding is tentative, and there is no, we submitted a business plan, but we haven't received the response back. Whether we had inputs in the funding that we received early in the financial year, I'm saying very early, January, we received communication administratively from the Department of Local Government to request what our critical water and sanitation infrastructure is, and what type of generator will be able to back up those infrastructure, and what those generators cost. I did mention that we submitted for 740,000 Rand to cover only the critical infrastructure. And this is not the office block, this is purely water and sanitation. And we received the 60,000 Rand as an allocation. The did explain that we did further engage and what came of those engagements. Plans to mitigate load shedding totally. Currently, the municipality, because we have seen that the government and I've also heard the national president speak on local government and the energy space. There is no current hope within the government systems for a municipality to fight load shedding unless a municipality has investments that it will draw on to build its own generation capacity. And even then, they will have to jump the loopholes. So what we are hoping or what we put our hopes on now is to engage Department of Mineral Resources and Energy to at least change the rules regarding social funding to municipalities by the IPPs, because if that changes, these IPPs must spend a fair amount over a period of 20 years Now, if I can just give an example, Laingsburg currently consumes less than 2 megawatts of power. One turbine on the wind farm produces 5 megawatts of power. So one turbine will essentially be too much for Laingsburg. And it will cost that company less than the 20-year social funding that they need to spend in Laingsburg. The problem is we can engage in that communication, but the wind farm don't want to engage in that communication because it's their business, first of all. Secondly, they are using the community by funding the community in different things. Simply, the community is getting school shoes, they're getting jackets, but if the community gets a turbine that will energize the community, it won't just save them from load shedding, but it will result in savings in their pocket on the long term, because there will be cheaper electricity for the municipality to resell to the community. But that, it seems, the wind producing companies or the energy producing companies don't want, because it's their business. And it also seems that the Department of Mineral and Energy don't want that to happen. So we are fighting that fight currently. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Komanisi. Members, are there any further questions? I see Member Bartman going once, going twice, and that will be it. Member Bartman?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, it's just a clarification question to Mr. Komanisi. Mr. Komanisi, I thought that you sit on the, I'm not sure if it's called the technical or the social committee of the wind farms that you have to, that has to be established with the wind farms in terms of mineral resources and energy. I know some of the other business people and community members who also sit on those particular committee where you can engage the wind farm on to what they use their social money for. Now, I know, for example, of the one entity that government entity that received money, social corporate responsibility money in Laingsburg. But have you asked the wind farm regarding, what could you spend that money on in terms of, is it enough? Can you spend it on a turbine? Have you written at least maybe to DMRE to maybe say, listen here, we have these wind farms in our area. They might on certain occasions, generate additional energy. Perhaps can we go into a conversation as to how this can assist the municipality? But then also just lastly, you mentioned that in your response that, if you had to go for the wheeling agreement through the offtake and the bilateral with the mine, obviously Laingsburg the energy only goes into the Eskom grid in all 4 of the wards. So have you been able to explore how much it would cost to, for example, take one ward off the Eskom grid, for example? I mean, the 2 wind farms, if I remember correctly, are both in Ward 2. So, for example, maybe given the area, maybe you could speak to DMRE, okay, what could they maybe assist with money for cost, not cost, but what's the thing called a study to say how much it would cost if the municipality had to take one ward or part of the ward off the Eskom grid in order to be able to assist with not necessarily becoming load shedding free, because maybe it won't be enough energy, but perhaps you might be able to at least avert one load shedding stage. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Komanisi.
Chair, thanks. So, Chair, yes, I am, first of all, let me confirm that I am part of, through the municipal manager, I am part of the social and economic development engagement group. The engagement group's purpose, first of all, is only to ensure that the community is receiving its fair share, and the municipality is a stakeholder there as part of the oversight position. It doesn't change the rules that's in place for the what the social funding can go for. So, for an example, there's been a big argument within the municipal space. The municipality submitted a business plan for a TLB to fix the situation on our landfill site. We have not received that TLB as a municipality. There has been a lot of talk why we have not received the TLB, but the final response that we received was that Red Rocket, the builder of the wind farm, has now engaged Department of Mineral Resource to say that the municipality is desperately looking at getting this TLB, and they do realize that they contributed to the mess at our landfill site, and they received a deviation from DMRE to now investigate, not to purchase, but to investigate the TLB. In the meantime, the Department of Health has received incubators, has received beds and everything from the wind farm because they're not a municipality, and to the tune of 2 million rand. So the disparity here is not that government can't receive, is that a local municipality can't receive money. And to the question of the wheeling agreement, just a correction to the member, Goldenville is the only area outside the urban, inside our urban area that is receiving electricity directly from Eskom. The rest of the municipality is receiving energy from the municipality. So if we have our own generation capacity, about 75% of our community will be benefiting from that generation capacity. In fact, what we have also investigated is how much will it cost to purchase the grid of Goldenville from Eskom, to not be unfair to Goldenville when we get generation capacity, so that they also can benefit. And that cost can be generated out of the sales of the energy within this period of 5 years, and we can pay for the grid of Goldenville to include them in our capacity. The issue here is that once the wind farm is on the Eskom grid, the energy needs to be wheeled on the Eskom grid to the municipal substation, and from the municipal substation, then we only distribute to our community. And that wheeling is what causes load shedding if you have a power producer like Enel or this mine that I mentioned outside of your electrical grid. So our solution will only be to have a generator within our grid. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Komanisi, and to your team, to Mr. Justin Boyson as well. That concludes the deliberations on the Lanesville municipality. I understand that the Prince Albert mayor, deputy mayor, and the executive mayor, Councillor Jacquet, if I'm not mistaken, the municipal manager, Mr. Hendricks, and the director for technical services, Mr. Nongene, is in the meeting. If you could flag your presentation and go ahead, please. If you can introduce yourselves as well for the record, as you weren't here earlier, and then flag your presentation, please. Thank you.
Good morning, Chairperson, and thank you for the invitation, and good morning to other members and guests. Yes, I'm Linda Jacquet. We're from Prince Albert. Our municipal manager has apologized. He is on compassionate leave following a death in the family, and I am joined by Mr. Zolile Nongene, the Director Technical Services, and our Chief Financial Officer, Mr. P.V. Erasmus. Thank you very much, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Nongene will do the presentation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nongene. If you could go ahead. And then if you could put your presentation on presenter mode, that'd be much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. On my side, it's already on presenter mode. I don't know why on your side it's not showing.
Okay. Maybe we can ask Ms. Kluti to flight it for you. If you could stop sharing and Ms. Kluti can flight it. Mr. Nongene?
They want us to stop sharing.
Okay. Chair, while we are quickly resolving those technicalities in terms of getting that presentation on a slide mode, there we go. I think it's going to come now.
There it is.
Okay.
It's done.
Is it fine now?
Yes, it is fine.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I will try and be quick in terms of presenting because of time. Chair, by way of background, as Prince Albert Municipality, we are definitely providing electricity only in Prince Albert area. Then the area of Lokamka and Classroom are being provided electricity by Eskom. So in that regard, those two areas, we don't have any control in terms of electricity provision thereof, that those areas are solely depending on Eskom. Chair, we've tried to make some strides and means as a municipality. We try to make strides and means as a municipality in terms of ensuring that we deal with an issue of enhancing our revenue streams by engaging with Eskom. I'm trying to get to my second slide. Okay, there we go. Okay. In terms of that, there was some engagement that were done with Eskom, and there was a legal opinion in that regard, whereby it was clearly indicated that the function of electricity is a municipal function, but then that has been done, it can be done in a form of an agreement between the municipality and Eskom. But then that alone doesn't solve the problem, because we have to go through a lot of red tapes and programs in order to get those areas back. But in a nutshell, if we can get back those areas at the municipality, that will enhance our revenue streams at the municipality, and it will put us in a much more better position in terms of revenue streams as a municipality. Okay. Now, in the next slide, you can just see, we just try to, for the benefit of the members, just to indicate which areas that are for Eskom and which areas are being supplied electricity by us as a municipality. Okay, and then coming to the support that we are getting as a municipality. In March this year, we received an amount of 175,000 as a municipality through a provincial gazette, whereby we requested as a municipality to buy or to purchase a standby generator with a capacity of 45 kVA to 50 kVA, which will definitely be a diesel generator that will serve as a standby generator specifically for our key points in terms of infrastructure and services. We then went ahead with the process. We then went ahead with the process, and we purchased the. Trying to get my phone. Okay. I'm completely out of my slide now. Back here. Okay. I'm trying to get to my stuff now.
There's an arrow. Won't that be?
The presenter needs to change the slides.
Oh,
yeah. I've lost it now. I can see my presentation. Can you see it on your side? Okay.
So, sorry, yes, we can.
Yes. I just want to go to the next slide from that one. Okay, we've tested the market share, and on the closing of tender on the 8th of June, we received about 6 tenders. And all of those tenders, if you can see in terms of a pricing schedule, they were way above the allocated amount that we received as a municipality. So we received the cheapest generator that we could get. It was 210, and then we only got 175 as a municipality. Can you change on your side, Chair? Okay, there we go. Okay, in terms of challenge and proposed solution that we've picked up as a municipality, we have realized that the issue of pricing and the demand of generators has resulted to inflated price or escalation on the price because everyone and every municipality in the country is looking for generators. We've also noticed that the issue of us as a municipality on a remote or on a far periphery are actually at a disadvantage because the prices are actually very high for us. And also the issue of budget allocation that was definitely given to a municipality was not in line with the market price, which was an issue that we've actually picked up. And also the issue of delay on SAM processes. Therefore, Chair, we then said, okay, maybe we can definitely propose some few things to the department to deal with this issue, whereby we are saying the market should be tested first and foremost before any allocation is made to a municipality. Secondly, the geographic location of the municipality must also be taken into consideration in that effect. Maybe, and the third issue, it will be the issue of the term tender or the RT tender that you normally get on treasury, especially on issue of national interest, like your generators, the crisis that we are facing with. Maybe those things can be put on a form of a term tender, and then municipality can participate on the term tender and be able to get this kind of machinery on a fair price that will be relevant to all municipalities. The next slide. Other support that we are thinking that as a municipality we are going to get from the province, which is one of the projects that we are looking desperate as a municipality to it. It's a project that is called Containerized PV Battery Storage Project. This is a project that is planned at the Provincial Department, whereby the department is intending to put up a container that is full of battery storage, and then also have some solar panel around the area. They requested us as a municipality to avail a piece of land that is about 8.5 hectares of land. And then the electricity that we're going to generate from those panels is going definitely to be used to supply electricity back to the municipal area. And that alone will definitely reduce the issue of load shedding about 4 hours, which simply means if you go up to stage 6 of load shedding, in that 4 hours where the power is off, we can definitely switch on the PV battery storage system, and then we can still have electricity as a municipality. But then in other areas with the outer towns, then you will still sit with the same problem of not having electricity. So that's a project that has been at the planning stage at the provincial department. But as a municipality, we have not been given far more details in terms of how is that project going to unfold, because there's still a lot of questions and answers that we've got as a municipality in terms of how is it going to be rolled out, how is it going to be helping us as a municipality in terms of revenue streams and so forth. So that's a project that we are really key as a municipality because we definitely need that project. It can definitely benefit us as a municipality in the long term in terms of this energy crisis that we are faced with as a municipality. The next slide, please. I think in a nutshell, Chair, those are the points that we wanted to raise as Prince Albert municipality. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Longene. Members, as per the usual, we will now take questions for the Prince Albert municipality presentation. I see Member Bartman. Are there any other takers? No, Member Bartman, you may go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you so much for the presentation. I wanted to find out regarding the containerized battery storage project that you're still waiting on confirmation for. How much is the estimated cost of such a project? So I know that you said that you're still waiting for confirmation, but hypothetically, if irrespective of where the funding comes from, how much would such a project cost in order to reduce load shedding for 4 hours per day with the with the aim of, I see that you also need to avail 18.5 hectares of land with security and fencing for the respective project. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nongene.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Chair, that's exactly the question that we've also raised as a municipality, because we need to know rents and cents. How much is this going to cost us? How much do we need to prepare on our side as a municipality so that we can definitely get this project rolling as quick as possible? As a result of that, on our side, the council has put it aside an avail of about 1.6 million, whereby 500 of that we want to do the assessment of the entire network. We want to definitely put something in terms of the PZ project. We want to put 600,000 for the fencing and so forth in that whole vicinity. But then those kind of questions is what we are also asking on our side to the province to give us those details. How much is it going to cost to put this project? How are we going to deal with operation and maintenance of it? How is it going to operate in the long run? So those are the things that they have not been clearly outlined to us as a municipality. But we are hopefully that in the long run, the province will explain those things to us, because we definitely desperately need the project on our side as a municipality. And we hope the members of the parliament will also support us to advance that discussion.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nongene. As far as we can, we will support you. Member Bodman, was that in the follow-up end?
Chair, you covered me in your comment. I was going to propose that we can perhaps ask in that the proposal that has been made, that they just submit the detailed cost for us. Thank you.
Yes, I agree. We can submit the detailed cost, Mr. Nongene, and we will be able then to assist you wherever we can. Members, are there any further questions? In that case, thank you very much to the Prince Albert Municipality, to Madam Mayor, to Mr. Nongene, and the CFO, Mr. Erasmus. Thank you very much. I understand Mr. Christo de Kooker from the Beaufort West Municipality is with us. Mr. de Kooker and Mr. Christopher Wright. I do acknowledge your name, Mr. Wright, and it's a good name, sir. But let's go forward. Mr. de Kooker, would you be doing the presentation?
Good morning, Chair. No,
Good morning.
Mr. Wright will do it. Mr.
Wright. Thank you, Mr. Wright. If you could, would you like to flag your presentation and then speak through to it, sir? Or would you like Ms. Kluti to do it for you?
Chair, morning, Chair. From my side, I'll flag the presentation. I just quickly want to make sure that the municipal manager or the acting municipal manager of Beaufort West Municipality is also on the platform, Mr. Derek Welgemoot. I'm not sure if he's on the road to Cape Town at this stage. If he just wants to add something, otherwise I can proceed with the presentation.
I do see there's a Derek guest. I would assume that it's Mr. Welgemoot. Mr. Welgemoot, would you like to add anything right now, sir?
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, honourable members. Now, at this stage, Christo and him can go ahead, and when it comes to answers, I will be available. I'm on my way to a meeting with PT, so I'm not sure how long this is going to take, but as for now, I am available and will stand by.
Thank you, Mr. Welgemoot. Mr. Wright, if you can continue, sir.
Chair, if you can just maybe confirm that you can see the presentation.
I can see the presentation. You may continue.
So the background on this presentation that we're presenting today is basically, as all the other municipalities also just indicated, is during the 22-23 financial year, load shedding caused several interruptions in service delivery. The main concern was the inability to supply water during load shedding, Beaufort West Municipality applied for emergency load for funding from the emergency load shedding grant for the purpose of equipping 2 clean water pump stations with generators. Beaufort West Municipality received an allocation of 1,115 million rand for the project, and co-funding to the value of 142,000 rand was availed for from Beaufort West Municipality to be able to complete this project successfully. This project was completed during the June 2023. So just to give you an idea, the 2 generators that were installed, some security measures needed to be done there as well, and we needed to update the MCCs of the pump stations to ensure that the generators can function correctly. So once again, there is just the overview and some pictures of the generators that have been installed and functional at this stage within Beaufort West Municipality. Then furthermore, during the 22-23 financial year, Beaufort West implemented 2 additional projects to reduce the effect of load shedding on the water supply to the outside towns. So that's an upgrading and equipping of bowls in Merweville, as well as an augmentation of the bulk water supply to Maritzburg. Both of these projects were funded with WESIG funding, and the idea was to ensure that water supply can still be to the community can take place on a constant basis during load shedding, as these towns both rely on boreholes to be able to supply water to town. So we needed to equip the boreholes with additional renewable energy infrastructure, and what we did is we equipped the boreholes in Merweville and in Maritzburg. We equipped in Merweville 2 additional boreholes were equipped with solar panels, and then the starters were changed to be a hybrid system, and that indicates that you are able to use Eskom power, or alternatively you can make use of solar panels. And the reason for that being, and with this also we try to double up on the capacity of water supply to town, because we only have approximately between 12 and 16 hours of electricity available. We must try to adhere to the demand of the town within the available time, and then with the solar panels also taken into account, that's able to supply electricity or renewable electricity to the plants for approximately between 6 and 8 hours a day. There's a photo just of Maritzburg. So in Maritzburg we did exactly the same. 2 pumps were equipped with solar panels, and just to give you an idea, those 2 pumps alone is able to supply Maritzburg with water for a period of approximately 20 hours that we are able to supply the town with water, and then we can add to that with the Eskom connections that are also connected to these pump stations. The project value was about 15.5 million, and Merweville approximately 12 million rand that were received, and like I mentioned, it was WESIG funding that was availed to the municipality. Then on the energy project and planned projects that we're looking at for the 23-24 financial year, we're looking at equipping municipal buildings with the necessary solar battery systems to reduce electrical consumption of the building and to reduce the effect of load shedding on service delivery. I think all of us know already that once electricity is down, you sit with a problem, you're paying people for not being able to work. So there are some of our municipal buildings that do not have backup generators, and some of them that backup generators are between 15 and 20 years old already and needs replacement. So the municipality is rather investigating the route of going for alternative energy sources like batteries and solar panels than replacing the generators. Then we're also looking into it to add solar panels to balls within Beaufort West, as we see that Merweville and Maritzburg is in a very good space at this stage. Load shedding is not affecting water supply to these towns at all. So we need to take that initiative and implement it in Beaufort West as well. And then, like all the other municipalities have mentioned, that the treatment of sewage during load shedding is also becoming a risk at this stage, because it's happening for long periods now, and we're not able to treat any water, and this causes unnecessary sewer spills within towns. Then the municipality also availed land for the private development of solar energy generation, and farm Hansrivier was identified by the municipality for this, and the municipality is in the process of the construction of a 20 MVA. We're in the planning process for the construction of a 20 MVA solar plant, and the discussions is currently taking place between DMRE and the overseas funding source, and that is a project run by the municipal manager. So that's it from our side, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wright. Members, as always, I will now take questions to the presentation. Are there any questions, members? I see Member Mitchell.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. I just want to, I just have one question, if I can. Firstly, thank you very much to Christopher and the team for the presentation. And thank you for the work that is being done in this space. I just wanted to ask with regards to Merweville. Now, I know that the initial borehole, there was some concerns a couple of years ago with regards to the actual infrastructure and how the water is being distributed, or I think distributed is the regte Engelse woord, but how it eventually gets to the end user. Now, based on that, I just wanted to find out if the additional capacity that is now being added, i.e. through the solar panels, is done on the existing infrastructure, or did they take that into account prior to investing more money, in particular in Merweville? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Member Mitchell. Mr. Wright, would you like to answer that question, please?
Thank you for the question, sir. Just to give some feedback on that, Chair. So prior to this project in 2018, Beaufort West Municipality had a problem of water supply in Merweville because of the existing borehole infrastructure not being able to reduce supply when the water levels become lower. Funding was availed by the Department of Local Government of approximately 5 million rand, and all the existing infrastructure on bores were changed. And to ensure with a new technology, you're able to put a VSD drive in with a mag flow meter, and your flow is constantly monitored by the VSD to ensure a constant abstraction from the ball. So that was done. Then after that, we also upgraded the existing reservoir. We lined the existing reservoir at 200 kiloliter, and we built a new 400 kiloliter reservoir in Merweville. And then with the FRP currently going, 95% of the whole of Merweville has been equipped with new water meters as well. So at this stage, the infrastructure in Merweville is quite good. And then the new bore that we showed you, they had a brand new pipeline that is transferring the water from the bores to the reservoirs as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wright. Members, are there any further questions? Yes, Member Mitchell. Follow up.
I do, Chair, and thank you very much, Christopher, for that feedback, and it's good to know, because it's just doesn't make sense to spend additional money on if the existing infrastructure was not able to manage it. So thank you for that feedback. And I have a similar question with regards to the infrastructure in Merweville and in Maritzburg. So without getting into a dialogue, Chair, I just wanted to, I mean, if Christopher can just touch on if that in fact happened in Merweville, Maritzburg too, and I'm very happy to take this discussion offline without holding the committee back. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, I think we should, but Mr. Wright, if you could answer that question, please.
Chair, on that question, just to give a overview, so basically the same happened in Maritzburg. The only so all the existing balls were upgraded with a new infrastructure, and 2 new balls were equipped with a new pipeline running from the Victoria West scheme to the newly built 200 kiloliter reservoir, as well as a newly built 400 kiloliter reservoir. There is still some challenges regarding infrastructure in Maritzburg, and that relates to the old reservoir. It's approximately an 800 kiloliter reservoir. And then the other problem is the lack of water meter installations. So with the FRP taken into account, we got funding from Provincial Treasury, and the pilot project was basically Merweville. So we installed the meters in Merweville. That same project was rolled out to Nelsport and is currently close to completion in Nelsport. And then we'll only start with the installation of the new prepaid water meters in Maritzburg.
Thank you, Mr. Wright. One last round for questions, members. In that case, thank you very much, Mr. Wright and Mr. De Korker. That concludes the presentations, and I would say thank you very much to all the officials and all the mayors and all the municipal managers that attended this meeting from the various municipalities. We have to conduct some committee business, so you are free to leave. Thank you very much. Members, if you would stay behind, please.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Welgemoed, you are free to leave as well, sir, and safe traveling. Okay. Members, I see there's 2 more officials still in the meeting, but I think we can continue for now. Members, we will now move on to resolutions and actions. I know there was one already on the floor regarding the Department of Local Government and Provincial Treasury. Are there resolutions and actions that you'd like to propose, please? Member Bartman? Member Brinkhuis? That's it. Member Bartman?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, okay, you already covered me in the first point, but Mr. Komaniti from Laingsburg indicated on the chat that he would be able to forward us the respective costing regarding the grid of Gulneville in Laingsburg, because he spoke about if one had to take that grid and if it had to be for the municipality and be able to generate the cost back within 5 years, etc., with the wheeling to the substation and then distributing. But he essentially said he could share the cost regarding how much that would cost. And then I know Prince Albert also asked us that if we could also assist with asking the province for more information regarding the breakdown for, how much it would cost for the containerized battery storage project. And in that regard, I think as a committee we could assist. And I know previously I have made the suggestion, but perhaps this might be the opportune moment, is to maybe to ask DMRE to assist the committee to come do a briefing on the generation capacity of the wind farms and solar farms in the province, and whether there might be additional energy that the respective municipalities could enter into agreements with. And I'm speaking about this with the context of Laingsburg, but I know there might be other municipalities and even the province that might be interested in some of the answers that we might be able to get from DMRE and the possible support that they can give in this regard. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Member Brunkhuis.
Well, thank you very much, Chair. Chair, yes, in terms of resolutions, if it's possible for this committee to do an oversight visit to the Kubik power plant here in the Western Cape, and so that we can just get a better understanding of where they are currently in terms of getting to 100% capacity, and to just maybe for the committee, for us ourselves to go see firsthand how far they are in getting to 100% capacity. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Member Brunkhuis. Member Nkondlo.
Chair.
Member Christians.
Chair, I don't know. Was it Prince Albert that said they didn't want the 60,000 and it was still gazetted? They said it's not sufficient and it was still gazetted. I mean, how does that work? You say, listen, this is not going to work for us, and then you still get the money saying, I'm not clear about that. Municipalities, I know, accept money, but if it's going to be money that they're not going to utilize, and some of the other municipalities say as well, it wasn't sufficient. So I don't know, how do we get past that? We know it's not sufficient. Now you must have a rollover of the 200 something thousand. Because you don't have enough money. How? I'm just thinking. I don't know what the resolution can be, but I'm just saying the funds is insufficient now. The municipalities sit with the money, but they can't spend the money because it's not enough. So I don't know. I'm just mentioning it. It's not a resolution. I don't know how we can deal with that.
Okay, thank you very much, Member Bartman.
Chair, perhaps what we could do, and I share the concern from Member Christians, what we could do is we could perhaps ask, irrespective of whether local government or provincial treasury briefs us on it, but we could maybe ask that in addition to that information, that they indicate to us the engagement with the municipalities and what emanated from the respective engagements in order to be able to determine how much money respective municipalities get. I think the 60,000 was referenced to Laingsburg, and perhaps because I know that there was a mention of a formula, perhaps if they could then, in the engagement with us, also just let us know what the formula was. I did quickly open up the Bill 1 of this year, where that money was tabled in the adjustment appropriations. And I do know that it's not a grant specifically. It came from the Provincial Revenue Fund in terms of unforeseen funding. It's called Provincial Unforeseen and Unavoidable Reserve Fund. So I do know that the total amount of money that was made available was specifically for this is the problem at the moment. This is the impact of load shedding. So we're making this some money available for municipalities. So perhaps local government and provincial treasury can then engage us on those engagements and how they got to the formula for the costing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you very much to Member Nkondlo for your resolutions. It has been included and it will be recorded. Thank you very much. Members, are there any further resolutions? In that case, thank you very much. Our next meeting will be the Wednesday, the 27th of September, and that will be engagements with the Garden Route municipalities. And we will ask local government to send a representative to that meeting as well. There are a couple of committee matters that I'd like to address and to give feedback onto the committee with your indulgence. The Minister of Electricity replied on the Wednesday, the 30th of August, following our meeting on the 29th of August, to the committee presenting 2 dates to brief the committee. The 2 dates were the 12th of September, which couldn't be used because the program had scheduled confirmed meetings, and Thursday, the 14th of September, which was a sitting day. What has subsequently transpired is that we requested 3 alternate dates to check our program and the minister's program. His office provided an alternate date since both programs of the Western Cape Provincial Parliament and the Ministry are quite full for October. Therefore, we have confirmed that there will be a day in early November, which is open so far on the program. We're just waiting for the Chief Whip's confirmation that we can use this date, because this literally happened at 6 o'clock this morning. There is a date available. It is very early in November, and once we have confirmation from from the Chief Whip that we can use that date will be circulated to all members. But I suspect I envisage that circulation to be within the next either today or tomorrow. Members, I'd like to just point out that since our meeting on the 29th of September, I'm comfortable and satisfied that the minister is very serious and sincere when he says he wants to come and brief the committee. I think that our point has been made, and I believe that it's no longer at this present time, it's not necessary to follow the route of summonsing at this present time, because I'm comfortable that the minister is sincere and serious about coming to brief the committee. So I ask your indulgence for the next day or two, and we will confirm the date and time and place of the briefing, of the Minister of Electricity. That concludes that matter. The second matter is that we are currently securing a date via the Office of the Chief Whip to be briefed by NERSA and the City of Cape Town on imposed tariffs and discrepancies, and we will inform the committee once we get the date. Those are the 2 committee matters. And then what we will also do is I will ask Ms. Kluti to meet with the programming staff and the Chief Whip to secure dates for follow-up briefings on the resolutions from previous committee meetings. The program is quite packed, but we will ensure that these matters raised by members to invite departments will be scheduled. A meeting will be scheduled to adopt all committee documents as well. Members, those are the 3 committee matters that I needed and would have liked to bring to your attention. If there are no further discussion points, I would like to thank you for your attendance and for your robust discussions this morning. And I wish you a wonderful day ahead. For those of us in Cape Town, enjoy the crisp late winter, very early springs morning. Have a wonderful day. This meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, Chair. Bye.
Thank you, Chairperson. Goodbye.
Thank you, Chair. Bye.
Thank you, sir.